He was thrown out by his uncle into the cold. Facing the severe cold of minus tens of degrees, he had to appeal to his mother for help, but mother just looked at Will with tears in her eyes. Then he turned and went back to the room. Frozen, Will had to hide in the kennel. Slept with the dog. But I just slept for a while. Uncle Ned woke him up again. Ned became Will's devil coach. He wants it in just 1 month. Train Will to be strong. Focus, stamina and balance must be greater than ever. Time flies. A month passed quickly. Will, who has achieved something? On the train to Canada. Before leaving, his mother told him that money is not important. The important thing is to come back alive. Ned hands Will a whistle. That's what my father used to give instructions to dogs when he was alive. With this, Gus will listen to him more. However, Will was a little timid at this time. He wished that Ned would go with him. This way he will have more confidence. But Ned said it was his challenge. After a day and a night, Will finally arrived at the pep rally. Countless experts gathered on the scene. Most of them are experienced. Strong body. There are even several former champions participating again. Behind every player is a rich man. Compared to 17-year-old Will is like a chicken left alone. Neither strength nor financial resources are competitive at all. However, after reading the list of players, Will noticed that his name was not in it, and he challenged his sponsor, Hubble. But in fact, there is indeed Will on the registration form, but they didn't expect him to come. Looking at the stinky Will, Hubble asked how much money he had with him. He lied that Will was late. You need to pay $10 to enter. Anyone with the right eye can see it. He just wanted an excuse to get rid of Will. The security didn't listen to the explanation and was going to fork him away. But now, a reporter offered a helping hand to Will. Kingsley says, if they refuse to let Will compete, he's going to put it in the papers. 20 million readers will see for themselves. These big guys are bullying a 17-year-old boy. People at the scene also began to show solidarity with Will. Out of pressure, Hubble can only let Will enter the race. Will is very grateful to Kingsley, but he wondered why he was helping himself. However, Kingsley was not a good person either. He just saw the newsworthiness in Will. Will is feeding the dog at night. Suddenly, a ferocious man walked up to them, kicked the doctor, Will and his theory, but was provoked by his words. One of Will's fellow villagers didn't like this behavior, stepped forward to help. After that, he did not forget to warn Way, you must stay away from Berg. Simple Will doesn't realize it yet. This unfriendly bald head, far more terrifying than he imagined. Will wants Gus to be in the game, leave him some thin noodles, but Gus turned a deaf ear, until he blew the whistle left by his father. And the next day, with the grand opening ceremony, the competition officially began. After a gunshot, all the players start one after another. Not only are they competing for that tempting $10,000, at the same time, they also carry the honor of their respective countries. Surprisingly, Will quickly rushed to the first place. The rich are on Hubble's private train. Watched the game. They were all stunned by Will at the top of the list. The media compartment exploded. The reporter saw Will's performance. It's like seeing a promotion and a raise right in front of you. An inexperienced Will doesn't know. Ahead is the dangerous Devil's Slide. All the players deliberately let him go. Looking at the cliffs with nowhere to go, Will has no choice but to walk. When he walks up the mountain exhausted, I just found out that I have become a big wrong seat to open the way for my opponent. After a short rest, Will sets off again. Compared to going up the mountain, the downhill slide is much easier. All the runners gallop down, but that's also the danger of the Devil's Slide. A player is caught unprepared. There is a problem with the rope, so fast that he couldn't adjust. At the critical moment, he threw the claw hook to save his life. Will's fellow was about to pass Berg, kicked off the route by him. To save his life, he can only get off the sled, but his strong inertia kept him going downhill. The tumble finally hit the tree. Passing by Will wants to help him, but he didn't want to hold Will back. But Will didn't get very far. Gus sees fellow dog teams and sledges. Suddenly playful, reversed direction. Finally, Will fell from first place to last place. Just arrived at the checkpoint. See him in a mess. Bored not only mocked again, but Will didn't care. He took Ned's advice to heart. On this night, he only slept 5 hours, while everyone else is still asleep. Without food, Will packed his gear and prepared to go. Kingsley worried that he was exhausted, but Will didn't care. Just took out my mother's special fruitcake. Took a few big bites. Kingsley can't help but sigh that he really made the right bet. Will gallops all the way forward, leave other opponents far behind. A sudden glacier stopped in front of them. The scene of the father's drowning keep flashing in Will's mind. In the end, Will couldn't resist the fear in his heart. Bypassed the glacier, choose to take a different path from the mountain road on the side, and that meant he lost his advantage. The blizzard is getting worse. They struggled through the snow, but it didn't take long. Will's stamina has reached its limit, lying on the sled and sleeping to see where Wilgers, who was devastated, could only come forward. Lead the team forward. The rich don't see Will. Blame Kingsley. It was he who pushed the boy to the brink of death, and he should take some responsibility for that. However, Kingsley said, he helped a poor guy in a ravine make the front page. What's wrong with him? But the other party said that everyone can see it. Kingsley is just for his own benefit. Until night, all players arrive at the checkpoint one after another. One contestant was frozen unconscious. His frozen hands kept him from leaving the sled. Some even lose their minds. Just missed precious rest time. However, until everyone is asleep, Gus finally lived up to expectations, bringing Will unconscious to the checkpoint. Sleepy Kingsley finally saw Will's team. Everyone came right away. Spirits are pouring out of the room. Will's performance exceeded their expectations. This is for him at the age of 17. Undoubtedly a miracle. But Will's shock went beyond that, and the next day it was still dark. Will goes first again. Halfway, he found the Icelandic competitor who had gone through the checkpoint. He was already hot all over. Delirium. But he used a cautious consciousness, refused Will's help. Then he fainted. Think again and again. Will still decided to go first. Save lives. But he didn't notice. His most important whistle was left in place. Will goes in reverse. Put the contestant in front of the rich man's train. When he learned that Will had saved him, everybody thought it was crazy. Haber, who rejected Will at first. I also began to take notice of this young man. But another rich Icelandic doesn't know what's good or bad. Will saved the contestant he sponsored. He turned around and used $5,000. Bet Will won't make it to the finish line. Haber, who was not used to it, immediately took the gamble. Will, who is returning to the game, is resting in place. To save lives, he lost the edge again. Dogs need rest too. However, only then did he realize that the whistle had been lost. He stood up in a panic. Let's go. Gus doesn't listen to Will at all. Will can only try to make the whistle sound with his mouth. Set sail again. Will finish the race? Let's wait and see. With the media exposure, Will's story gradually became known. In this age of war, the sincerity and tenacity of this young man, affecting devastated populations. They refer to Will as Will of Steel, and Will was playing that song. It's called the Song of the Will. Newspaper leaders took the initiative to visit Will's family. Mother was relieved to see Will's deeds. However, getting here, newspapers only know the real reason Will competed: to replace my dead father, pay off the farm debt and earn your own tuition. This brings Will even more attention. The leader immediately decided, bring Will's family to the finish line of the race. Witness Will's glorious moment in person. However, the rich with black hearts began to fear Will, who was getting stronger and stronger. To win the bet, he colluded with the ruthless bird. Let him do everything he can to stop Will from reaching the finish line. And the next day, keen Will noticed the strange bark sound in the ear. However, when he was not paying attention, Borg in the shadows released his vicious dog. By the time Will finds out, it's too late. The vicious dog charged straight at Gus, kept biting him. Unsuspecting, Gus ends up with bites all over his body. Will's heart aches. He took out his self-defense pistol. The thought of revenge flashed through my mind, and Gus hummed, restore angry Will to his senses. He lit the stove right there. Boil herbs for Gus to heal wounds. When herbs are applied to the body, the pain kept making Gus make a sound. Will can only play his father's tune to soothe his pain. At night, they finally reached the checkpoint. Will went straight to Borg without saying a word. I punched him in the face, then press him down. Let go of your anger. Borg pulls out a dagger and tries to fight back. Will pulled out his pistol without showing weakness. Harry looked at the wounded Gus. Will regretted his decision. If you don't come to the game, he wouldn't be in such a disaster. Gus let out a sudden growl of warning. It turned out that a rich merchant came to Way. Way can't force it. Only inducement. He convinced Will to give up the game. He was willing to pay Will $3,000. However, this sum of money is enough to deal with all the difficulties in Will's family. I sensed that Will was a little moved. Gus immediately cast a look of contempt. In the end, Will decided to continue the game. This time he slept less. Kingsley persuaded him to continue like this. There will be problems with the body. However, Will said angrily, isn't that what he needs? Actually, Kingsley's concern for Will is heartfelt. As the race progresses, the competitors are gradually entering the US border. However, starting here, Will was treated like he had never been treated before. The title of Steel Will has spread across the country. His story made everyone proud, but Will didn't dare to immerse himself in it. Because the game is not over yet, the two boys proposed. Help Will find a closer path. However, while crossing the railway, they were met with a roaring train. Boys are safe. Escaped the railway with the whole team. But Gus Rope got stuck on the tracks.